My name is Lucie. I am a gamer, a former senior staff writer at purexbox.com, and a YouTube content creator.
Yeah, I'm 43. I look much younger than I am. I'm way more intelligent than you'd expect from this face. And I'm married to someone that's way out of my league.
My name is Annie. I am 24 years old and I teach part-time English to Dutch students. And I'm also a gamer.
Well, I'm 22. Name's Tom. In my hobbies, I play a lot of Xbox.
I was in the gaming industry, mostly doing events.
My name's Ken Barnes. I've worked in the gaming industry for about 20 years, writing freelance capacity and editing several websites and also writing for magazines, etc.
My name is Ash. I go by the name Lady Insanity on the interwebs. I guess on and off YouTuber, content creator for the past how many years? Like more than 10 at this point.
My name's Jared and I create content on YouTube full-time.
My name is Katie and I run the YouTube channel Gilderthallen, where I just talk about the video game Dragon Age, mostly about the lore, not really promotion or anything like that.
I'm Andrea Renee. I have a long history working in digital media, specifically in video games media.
I'm Brittany Brombacher, and I, like many others in the industry and many of those who love video games, have been playing video games since I was a little kid. I never really strived to be a part of the industry, and I find myself here today, you know, playing games and gushing about Yakuza.
We are a group of friends with over 30 years of professional video games industry experience that bring that expertise from different facets of the industry to our conversations every week, where we analyze the news and also talk about our candid impressions of games that we've been playing and games that are currently out.
In the modern era, many traditional forms of media have been asked to step aside by everyday individuals making user-generated content on social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook and Reddit, and online video sites such as YouTube and Twitch TV. The gaming industry has been no exception to this rule, and the democratization of this highly interactive medium has seen the rise of the online gaming YouTube content creator, as well as giving gamers more ways to enjoy the games that they love. In 2005, a group of friends got together and came up with the idea of an online platform where people could easily find video footage of global events or things that were going on in the entertainment industry. The first content that they uploaded to their website, YouTube, was a video of co-founder Jared Karim on a visit to his local zoo. It was inevitable that gaming content would begin to appear on the platform. From film footage of gaming competitions making instant superstars of the competitors, to previously unknown gamers uploading videos of them playing their favourite games. The YouTube gaming platform was born, and over the following decade created a new form of visual media, spearheaded by gamers who wanted to be able to share their content online.
For me, I wanted to create the channel because I wanted the content that didn't exist. And so I'm like, well, I could make it. I know how. I could do it. And I have time, so why not?
So when I started, it was all very basic and I would just cover whatever games came to mind. As I kept going, I kept getting deeper into doing the deep dives on video games, their development, get just a little deeper with every video. And now we're at the point now where we're spelunking, so.
I would just record all the time. And one day I just decided, okay, well, I might as well just keep on doing this. It went from like posting clips of me doing okay to clips of me doing commentaries. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm making these Call of Duty videos. I would get like 600 to 1,000 views on each one.
This viewership of gamers range from the young to the old school, from the plucky action adventurer to the hardcore role player. Consuming content that was once only available for them to play on their personal computers or console of choice through a wider range of devices, bringing the medium in line with traditional forms of media like television and film.
People don't have gamer written on their forehead. I would find it difficult to find gamers in Holland, and because of that I reached out on social media, Instagram, later Twitter, because it's basically like Tinder with video games. You like the same game, I like the same game, okay, let's sit down and talk.
I tend to find with the more in-depth games, a good example would be the Division or the Division 2, which are either of them, where the in-depth nature requires you to have a level of knowledge of the intricacies of the game, where you can go to social media, particularly YouTube, and find content creators who have made a habit of putting in the time and the effort to learn the intricacies and then publish content explaining it to you, where it makes your life easier and you can spend more time enjoying the game without having to do that research. So there are certain games and genres where if you want the information you can go and find it, and that's helpful.
Games media that was once presented over monthly magazine subscriptions or on obscure late night television shows could now connect directly with their audience through social media or their own dedicated websites. But this too has seen a shift in the democratization of the industry.
Traditionally, the long-standing reputable outlets get far more access far earlier than content creators do, with the exception of a few publishers. Because before it felt like publishers were really holding all of the keys and you really couldn't cover anything without going through them first. And now it feels like it's a lot more open because they see the value of engaged communities. And it's much easier for singular content creators to connect with their viewers and their audience on a more authentic level than it is for a brand like GameSpot or IGN.
You don't have to be a traditional game journalist or traditional journalist in general to cover games successfully. I mean, we don't consider ourselves to be.
YouTubers generate a lot of content, but they also generate a lot of content for magazines and a lot of content for journalists to write about. You know, PewDiePie says this is a story now, and it's an easy story to write. Also, PewDiePie, not to pick on him, he could go and say, I really like this game, it's perfect. And nobody knows if he's ever played another video game before. And then you've got a reviewer saying, here's a game, I think it's perfect. He's got a vast experience of playing video games. You should trust him more, but you don't because you can see PewDiePie's face.
Positive elements of gaming social media has been the increased accessibility of gaming communities, normally centered around a specific gaming franchise. These online communities give safe, inspiring space to gamers to connect with fellow fans of a franchise, as well as enhancing the personal experience and bringing the virtual world that ever bit closer to everyday life.
I think some communities are really good in that they have a sort of positive impact, and they can provide good feedback and constructive feedback to developers on certain issues.
The entire Bioware space is mainly on Twitter, Tumblr, and Reddit. It's a lot harder to find people who are willing to talk about a 100-hour game with you. So it's really easy to just pull up Reddit and just be like, oh yeah, how about this thing that you saw in the game? What? I didn't see that part.
And just being able to talk about strategies with Skyrim. One of the things that I love in Skyrim are all the little stories. Like being able to share stories like that are not known within Skyrim. That's like one of the ways that I've connected with people too.
One of the forms of social media around gaming was becoming involved with a certain game developer and game. And the community around that, and meeting some of the people from that, and then marrying one of them, who's behind the camera now.
Having the ability to connect with other gamers on such a personal level is a powerful tool, and it is a responsibility that YouTube gaming content creators appear to be well aware of.
I think for us, we know that we have been very transparent with the fact that our show is by adults for adults, despite the fact that we still very strangely get featured on podcasts for kids lists. I don't know
all
why.
All the time.
Maybe I have a thicker skin than most. That's definitely possible, but I think it's also possible that I might have cultivated a viewership that is a little more apt to be respectful, because I'm a little more apt to be respectful towards them. I try to come at every situation without being a jerk, even if that's not given in the first place.
I kind of always try to be mindful of it because I think coming from the therapy background, like you're really taught to be like, hey, as the therapist in the room, you have an element of power. So coming into the channel, I kind of took that mindset of that's something that has some sort of element of power. Even if I only have 100 subscribers, they're going to see me as a reliable source because I'm telling them I am. And they're coming to my channel for that reason.
However, when it comes to the public perception of online gaming influencers, the bad reputation of a few seems to have soured opinion.
There's nothing wrong with influencers. I don't have a problem with influencers. I have a problem with the way they're influencing. You know, they're doing it because of money. They're not turning up and saying, this is a game I played and I really liked it and you should buy it. Well, actually, they are saying that, but only if they've got a stack of 50s in their back pocket, and that's the problem.
The rise of the influence is one of the biggest problems for younger generations in particular.
Young people are easily led. It's not always real, you know. They show you what they want you to see, basically. You don't see the big picture. So as a kid, you might look at it and think, oh, they've got the perfect life. You know, I want to be just like them, but actually you don't see, you know, what they don't want you to see, basically.
There's good things going on. They could be a force for good in the industry, in society, in just game development, in anything. But the chances of that happening are about that big because one way makes a lot of money and one way doesn't.
It is abundantly clear that social media and the rise of the online gaming personality has had an impact on the gaming industry. But the question remains, has it been for better or for worse?
I think social media isn't necessarily a bad thing in general or a good thing. I think it's a double-edged sword. It exposes bad behavior such as racism and calls people out on it. It makes people laugh with, I don't know, funny dog or cat videos.
I think that the rise of social media really helped to normalize gaming in a way where people are more accepting of it.
Having that big sort of rise in the number of people gaming and having it shoot into the spotlight is definitely going to have a positive impact on and making things better, encouraging better development of games as well.
Social media hit its peak a few years back. There was a good balance between constructive voices, user content, developer voices. I think it peaked and we've been on a bit of an unregulated slide.
I think of all of the hundreds of millions of dollars that the video game industry and content creators have raised for charitable causes with the help of social media, with hashtags, really organizing communities around helping others, like seeing how the community comes together to help people when they're hurting. But I think overall gaming communities are incredibly positive and uplift each other and support each other, and that is done with social media. If we didn't have social media, there probably wouldn't be a way for these communities to connect.
And I think that's really important. And I think it's also really great because it can raise awareness to issues that are happening within the industry as well, whether it's some personnel issue or some HR issue. And like, let's be real, sometimes it's none of our business, but if it's unethical, it's going to get out there anyway. And then it kind of allows us all to kind of share feedback on it and I think change the industry, or rather try to steer it into a more positive place.
Whether the gaming industry is a better place for having social media or not, it is certain that this trend of online content creation and user-generated content is on an upward march. And we are bearing witness to a new form of visual media that is just finding its feet. As progress gathers, we, as an industry, are left to wonder where this path will lead us.
Influencers will never go away. What they're called may go away.
The trajectory that some of these influencers and streamers have.
I think the way that YouTube and social media has gone now, some people are so big that it will be hard to move past them.
So I think it's going to keep growing because there's so much money in video games.
I almost want to say it's like a gold rush right now. People are starting to get in the gold, and at one point you're going to have the ghost towns of people, the abandoned channels where people didn't quite make it.
Digital creation tools are becoming more and more accessible every year, and so I don't see it going away literally ever again.
Agreed.
The gaming industry has always changed with the times and the rapid development of technological advancement. As we enter the dawn of a new console generation, which promises even more connectivity and support for content creators, the future looks bright for an industry that thrives on development and change. In a world where we are more connected than ever, we, the gaming industry, bid our new form of visual media well on whatever adventure awaits us next.